started cleaning, and I went out there to check on him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it had been a little bit, but we let him go out there all the time and play, you know? And I called his name. I didn't hear him. He didn't say anything.
There's 3 of them on my own. My dad passed away when I was 19, so I ain't got nothing else to say. Like I said, if they need to come here, I'll tell them to get off my property, and they got a problem with it, I'll leave the state, whatever. I'll go get another place.
Go and have a seat. Put your bottom in first, and then just watch your head, okay? There you go.
All right, here we go. Palm Coast, Florida, and it starts with one of the worst calls an officer can get because it is simple and terrifying. A very young kid is out in the open with nobody clearly in charge, no parent in sight, no answers right away. Just that sinking feeling that every second matters. What I want you to watch with me is the mindset shift officers have to make on a call like this. They are not just looking for a name and an address. They are scanning for danger. Traffic. Strangers. Water nearby. Dogs. Anything that can turn a wandering child into a tragedy in minutes. And at the same time, they have to keep this kid calm because the uniform can be scary when you are 3 years old. And this hits different right now because we have been seeing too many child neglect cases around here lately. Flagler County has been dealing with it nonstop, and Sheriff Rick Staley has been loud about one thing: protecting kids is not optional. So let us roll into it together and see how the officers handle the pressure in real time. If you respect what these deputies deal with, hit subscribe and ride with me on the next one.
Across the street that way, nobody knows.
You guys haven't seen him in the neighborhood before?
No.
You don't know where he might live?
I've never
And
seen
he's
him either.
not
The dog's more
answering,
nervous.
offering up a name or any
Hey, buddy.
attachment.
Hi. What you got? You got sticks?
So you saw him first, or who saw him first?
The guy left.
But you drove by after the fact? and
Yeah,
saw
he
him?
pulled up and he's like,
he was
we're
just-
like, who's this? We're like, we don't know who this is. So then we thought maybe it was somebody over here, so we knocked on their door.
The first thing that jumps out to me is how fast the deputies go into neighborhood canvas mode. No drama, no tunnel vision. They are working the simple questions that actually solve this. Who saw him first? Where was he coming from? Where was he headed? And does anyone recognize that dog? And that dog matters. A nervous dog attached to a little kid is a whole extra variable. It can bite out of fear, or it can guard that child from the wrong person. I like seeing the deputy keep it friendly and calm because that buys trust from the animal and from the kid. What makes this heavier is the pattern we have been seeing in Flagler County lately. Neglect cases. Kids left in impossible situations. Sheriff Rick Staley has been hammering that message because these are the calls that turn into lifelong trauma fast. From here, I'm watching for the next step. Do they find a home quickly, or does this turn into a bigger welfare check?
Do you know how old you are?
Hey, deputy, you know, I think I've seen that kid before, and I think he lives way down the street.
Do you know
No.
what the house looks like or anything like
No,
that?
because I think I've seen him out with some other people's kids.
Okay.
Because my son lives over on Beverly.
Okay, so you think somewhere down past the
I
cul-de-sac?
think down past the cul-de-sac.
Okay, I
But
appreciate
that's
it, guys.
only a wag.
Okay.
You know what a wag is, right?
No,
Wild guess.
you're good.
That's what I think
We'll
it
figure
is.
it out. If anything, we're gonna end up calling DCF.
Like I said,
but
the dogs
I'm gonna
used
wait
to-
for another deputy, and we'll start knocking on some doors and
because
figure it out.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you live here?
I live here, yeah.
Okay.
So that's
We knocked on their door to see if it was their kid and dog.
And like
Hi,
I
buddy.
see, as soon as someone goes
All
to
right.
their-
What you got?
Hello.
hell, boy?
Is
That's my
he?
friend. He got out through a gate.
Okay, where do you guys live?
She lives down there.
What's the address? What's the address?
I don't. 6. I think it's 6. I could be wrong.
6 what? Beechwood?
Yes. She's down there. She's pregnant. She's freaking out.
And the
Is it
dog-
38?
I think it might. Yeah.
Okay.
That's our dog. That's her dog. too.
214 Fogger.
She just went out to check
I'm out
on
with the
him because he
grandparent
plays
at
in the
one
backyard.
Beechwood.
It's all fenced in. Apparently, the dog has done a hole under the fence, and that's how he got out.
He was in the back?
Yeah.
Do you live there too, or you just help him
I'm the
look?
grandmother. She just called me. That's why I was rushed over here.
Okay.
No, you ain't going nowhere. You stay right here.
Thank you guys.
Man, you can feel the puzzle pieces finally start to click, and the pressure spikes at the exact same time. A neighbor thinks they recognize the kid, then suddenly the grandmother comes flying in, and the deputy locks it down. You are not leaving. That is not attitude. That is child safety protocol in real life, because the fastest way to lose the truth is to let the adults scatter. And in Flagler County right now, this is not some rare one-off. You have had recent cases where kids are flat out abandoned at a hospital. You have had homes so unsafe they turn into crime scenes. So when a fence story shows up, deputies cannot just nod and move on. They have to verify, document, and make sure this is not the tip of something worse. I also clock how the deputy keeps the scene controlled without escalating it. That calm is what keeps a bad day from turning into chaos.
You know, our fences, we have a fence.
You realize it's been probably at least 45 minutes by now?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's been at least 45 minutes.
I let him go out there all the time.
You still got to keep your eye on him and check on him. And that's being easy. It's probably really going closer to an hour.
Oh my God.
What? Do you not, like, check on him every so often?
I do, but I'm just so used to letting him go out there and play. I've never had an issue.
That's just a very long time for no supervision at all. I mean, 50 minutes to an hour in the backyard, there's snakes that get through the fences. I mean, obviously the fence isn't secure. The kid got through. I mean, I'm just glad he's okay.
Right.
He's perfectly fine. The dog, thankfully the dog's very protective, and the dog doesn't want to leave his side.
Whew. That moment when the time gap lands and you see the mom realize what the deputies are realizing too. That is not a little oops. That is a full window where anything can happen to a 3-year-old, and the deputy is doing the hard part, staying firm while she's breaking down. What hits me here is the environment check. In Palm Coast, you have retention ponds everywhere, busy cut-through roads and backyards that look safe until you find one loose board or a gap under a gate. Deputies do not get to assume the fence did its job. They have to walk it and prove it. And that dog staying glued to the kid matters. That is a protective bond, but it is also a variable. A stressed dog can turn fast when strangers close in. The deputies are balancing compassion, safety, and control all at once, and you can feel how thin that margin is.
I started cleaning, and I went out there to check on him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it had been a little bit, but we let him go out there all the time and play, you know? And I called his name, I didn't hear him, he didn't say anything. So I walked back out there to look, and I seen that the panel on this side of the gate had been knocked out, and he had gotten out, so I started walking down the road to try and find him. And then that's when he was down the road, so I stopped and talked to him. But that's it, like.
Okay. Who do you live here with?
My fiance and my other 2 kids.
Okay.
But none of them are here. He's at work and my other kids are at school.
Okay. About how long do you think he was outside for?
It didn't seem like that long to me, but he said he was probably gone for like 45 minutes. So, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you had to give an approximate time, it's 1:54 now. What time did you let him go outside when you started cleaning or doing whatever you were?
Probably like around 1.
Okay.
It's like the same. He goes back there all the time, plays, and don't go nowhere. But
How often, if he goes out back and you guys are like inside doing whatever, how often you guys go out there and check on him?
Oh, all the time.
Like, I'm saying, like, say he's out there for an hour, how many times did you check on him within that hour if he was out there?
Me? I'm moving all the time, so I'm always checking on him. 100 times. You know, like, I always keep an eye on my kid.
Okay.
Again, she works.
Right.
Again, she works, so I don't know. I'm at work. Like,
Okay.
I was just cutting grass.
What time did you leave for work today?
7 o'clock or so.
So earlier this
6:30,
morning?
7. Oh, yeah, early. So
Okay.
he's up in the morning, though. I mean,
Right.
he gets up. I usually make him something to eat, you know, and I'm, hey,
Right.
love you, bye. Make sure the front door's locked, pull it shut, because it doesn't shut all the way real easy, so like, I make sure I shut the sumbitch real good. We got that thing because, again, he, about 3 or 4 days ago, learned how to
Open?
and use his weight and opened it up. And I was like, hey, where are you going, you know?
I gotcha.
But, yeah, my 5-year-old wants to go out this damn window, and we told him 100 times. So we have a neighbor that has a little dog, walks around here, and he's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, and this was a week ago, he's like, he keeps coming out the window, and the thing is, he'll open it, but then he wants to try to shut it from the outside, doesn't shut all the way, leaves a crack. Well, then Tucker wants to try to go over there and try to lift it up, and I'm like,
I gotcha.
yeah, so...
And right here, you can feel the deputies shifting into accountability mode. Not yelling, not dogpiling, just methodical questions that lock the timeline down and test whether this story holds water. Because in Flagler County lately, these are not rare one-off scares. You have had multiple child neglect arrests in Palm Coast just in the last month, and Sheriff Rick Stelly has been loud about it for a reason. When kids end up alone, in hospitals, on the street, or in filthy homes, it almost always starts with this exact mindset. He does this all the time. And the dad jumping in about doors and windows, that is a giant red flag and a clue. If your 3-year-old recently learned how to open exits, your whole house has to switch to prevention mode. Deputies are listening for that pattern because it tells them whether this is a freak slip or a known hazard that got ignored.
Did she work last night?
She works pretty much every night. She's a manager at Wendy's. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I had my first son when I was 19 years old, and I don't get to see them. And I pay child support and everything else on him. That's pretty up. You know what I mean? Sorry about the profanity.
Listen, I understand. I get
that's
it.
what it is. I have no love, no nothing for people in general. And I know you guys got to do a job.
Listen,
but DCF comes to my house, I'm going to tell them to go themselves. What I'm going to tell them. If I got to pack my kids up and leave to another state because of this, that's what I'll do.
Well,
because
listen,
I take care of my kids. Nah. That.
Listen, I understand that.
I know,
we're
I'm just
not
saying,
placing blame on anything like that. I am like, I mean, we
I've
do
been
have to
through
do a
lot. I
DCF
lost
notification.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like
you
I said,
guys do
I
what you
just-
gotta do.
I wanna
Like
be
said,
upfront
I
with
wasn't
you.
here. I'm a good father. I know what I'm doing. I've raised 3 of them on my own. My dad passed away when I was 19, so I ain't got nothing else to say. Like I said, if they need to come here, I'll tell them to get off my property, and they got a problem with it, I'll leave the state, whatever. I'll go get another place.
Listen, I get it. I understand your frustration. Again,
Yeah,
I'm just
'cause
asking
I
you.
don't know what happened with my kids down the road, and when I show up after work, that's if you know.
I'd be upset too. I get it. You're a parent.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and then to sit here and have to do this is what I'm.
Right. Like I said, I'm only asking these questions just to kind of
I
figure
get
out.
it. I get
Because
it.
I already
I'm
asked her
telling
if
you,
you.
and I told you, and that's it. I don't know what she told you. I don't know what she was doing in there, but like I said, whatever has to be done has to be done. But I ain't losing no more kids. A female took my kid from me, like I said.
Alright, so Tessie, essentially you are going to be placed under arrest today, okay?
Oh my god, for what?
This is for child neglect. Alright, so do me a favor.
Oh my, I've never even been to jail.
How far along are you?
I'm like 13 weeks.
13 weeks? Okay. Alright, you've been cooperative with me so far. Do you want me to cuff you in the front? Are you okay with that? So I do have to cuff you, so are you okay with the front? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just put your hands together just like this. There you go.
Can I go call my mom?
Say that again.
Can I call my mom?
We'll try and figure out something. Okay? We'll make sure that you. Do you have anything on you in your pockets?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna walk you to my patrol vehicle over here, okay?
Can I talk to him, please?
Well, I'll let him come talk to you in a second, okay? We're gonna go on to the passenger side. You said nothing on you at all, no keys, wallet, anything like that? Okay. Yeah, we'll be right up there at the end of a
I'll
second.
talk to you in a second. You probably don't want the kid out here for this. I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here for a while. I'll talk to you in a minute, all right?
Go and have a seat. Put your bottom in first and then just watch your head, okay? There you go. Alright, I'll roll the window down for you in just a second.
Adult female 1015. All right, I'll go entertain him. Do you? I'm thinking about calling. I want to call DCF right now and see if they'll come out right now. Yeah, I will. All right. Like I said, I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here for a long time. I got you.
That is where the whole thing lands hard for me. Not in the search, not in the panic. It lands right when the cuffs come out and the deputy keeps his voice calm anyway. Because that is the moment a lot of people at home suddenly want a magic third option. Like, hey, can't we just scare her straight and call it good? But look at what the deputy is sitting on in real time. A 3-year-old is out in a neighborhood with a dog and no adult in sight. That is not a parenting oops. That is a public safety emergency involving a human being who cannot self-rescue. And once you hit that threshold, the job shifts from comforting to documenting. You can hear it in how the questions stop being soft and start being precise. And watch the mother's reaction when she realizes it is an arrest. That is not me piling on. That is just the reality of what you are seeing. She is shocked by jail. She is not shocked by the risk. That gap matters. Because the real lesson in this case is not that bad people exist. It is that normal life stress can build a blind spot where someone starts treating a lethal situation like it is just another inconvenient day. Then you've got the dad in the background spiraling about DCF and talking about packing up and leaving the state. Again, I'm not guessing what is in his head. I'm telling you what it feels like to watch. That is fear talking. That is a parent who has history with the system, or at least believes the system is coming to take something from him. And that is exactly why deputies have to be so careful with tone here. You can be right and still accidentally light a fuse if you come in hot. So when the deputy says you've been cooperative and offers to cuff her in the front, that is a small thing that carries a lot of weight. It is dignity. It is control without humiliation. It is him keeping the temperature down while still doing the unpleasant part of the job. People who have never been arrested hear handcuffs and think punishment. Deputies hear handcuffs and think safety for everybody. For her. For them. For the kid. For whatever emotional explosion might happen next. And the pregnancy detail hits too, because that is another layer the deputy has to manage right now without turning this into a sympathy contest. Being pregnant does not erase neglect. It does mean you handle the arrest carefully and you watch her condition. You saw him do that. It is professional. It is not cruel. It is the system trying to be human while still being a system. Here is the broader implication that sticks with me in Palm Coast lately. You keep seeing these child-centered calls pop up. Kids abandoned at a hospital. Kids in filthy homes. Runaways being harbored. The common thread is not one monster villain. It is adults making choices that force law enforcement to become the last line of parenting. Sheriff Stolley has been loud because once a kid is in danger, the window to fix it is minutes, not days. Community-wise, this is also a reminder that neighbors are part of the safety net whether they ask to be or not. The person who calls it in, the person who flags a deputy down, the person who says, yeah, I saw a little kid with a dog. That is the difference between a close call and a funeral. You do not need to be nosy. You need to be willing to speak up when something is wrong. Going forward, this is the part I want people to sit with. Accountability is not the opposite of compassion. Sometimes it is the only form of compassion that actually protects the child next week. Because if this ends with nothing but a warning, what changes? The locks, the supervision, the routine, the mindset. Something has to change. If you want another one that shows how fast a wandering toddler can unravel an entire adult story, I've got a recommended video on this channel where a little kid basically becomes the breadcrumb trail that leads officers right to the person who should have been watching him. Watch that next and tell me this. As a community, what do we really owe each other when the most vulnerable person on the street is not an adult at all?